Welcome, my Dreamcatchers. We're back. Give you another video. This time, we're doing my next edition of my vlogs, and this is my police encounters. Now, of course, with the climate of the world and everything that's going on, you know, I definitely wanted to kind of give my encounters that I've had with the police. The thing is, there's really only one that really sticks out to me. There's been little like nitpicky things. I'll go over those a little bit, but there's really one that's like legit, like the plot of the subplot of a movie. Like literally a movie scenario happened to me in real life. You know what I'm saying? So before I get to that one, you know, I can talk about, I remember there was one time, and I'll just do a brief with these and I'll break down, like I said, the one that I'm speaking of. But there was one time where I remember I ran to the corner store. It's at my grandma's house. Ran to the corner store, got this moon pie cake. I was excited. I had 2 milk. I had this cakes. Listen, I think wrestling was about to come on. Listen, you couldn't tell me anything about that. I was super ready. So I run to the corner store, get my little stuff. I had whatever my allowance was allowed me to get that, right? Ran back to my grandma's house, and she was, so if the store is at the corner, like I don't have to cross the street to get to the store. It's literally at the corner. So that means when I came back, I had to go like around the building, and then to frame the building for you, it's like an apartment complex setup where it's like 2 apartments like facing the front wall, and then 2 apartments on the side, and then the same thing for the top floor. So my grandma's apartment actually happened to be on the bottom, behind like the steps. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you come around the corner, you have to go around the corner to get to our house. So I go around, knock on the door. I ran, like I said, excited. I hear something behind me. 2 cops on bikes, and they just jumped off the bikes. And I'm like, first I got startled because like, who the heck is that? Because you know, like I said, you have to come around, so I can't like really see anyone coming around. It's just like if they come around, then it's just like it's like sudden. First I get startled, and then I'm like, oh. You know, I'm like, oh shoot, what's about to happen? Say I was in the best neighborhood would be an understatement. Definitely wasn't the best of neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? Got to keep it real. But I was just like, oh, what are they about to do? Like, you know, not that I was being nosy. Like, as soon as my grandma would have answered, that would have been that. I wouldn't have cared too less about it. I wouldn't have peeped through the peephole. I would have probably told her, like, it's cops out there. I don't know what they're about to do. They didn't go to no one else. No, they came right for your boy. So just, hey, what do you got on you? I'm talking about, I'm just confused. Maybe because I had a big jacket on. It was starting to wintertime. I don't know. All I know is they like searching pockets, pulling out pockets, like throw up against wall, pat down. And I'm just quiet. I don't really know what's going on. It happens so fast. Like you could play out the scenario. If this happens to me, I'll do this. If this happens to me, I'll do this. Whatever it is. But sometimes when things happen, they happen so suddenly that no matter how many times you played it in your brain, obviously if I can go back, maybe I would have said something, maybe I would have did whatever I did. But the reality of the situation is I was quiet. I just got patted down, freaking violated, just up against the wall, the freaking little milk, a little quart milk, and little zebra cakes thrown on the floor, And then it was like, once they realized nothing on me, just got on bikes and left. I remember I went inside the house, and I don't even think I said anything to my grandma at that time. I really don't think I said anything to her. I think I said something to my uncle later. Like, or maybe I didn't. You know what? Because I don't remember, I think it'll be vivid enough for the memory to remember if I said something to someone. So I didn't say anything to anyone. And I don't know that I rationalized it or I normalized it or whatever I did. But I just remember it happening, me being shocked. And then I guess to my younger self, I was like, well, nothing happened. I still got my food. I think if I can go back to that time, I would tell myself to speak up, to say something. You know what I did? I think I rationalized it. Because I'm like, okay, you know what? I was running fast. I did, you know, I had a big coat on. I had a bag in my hand. Maybe it could have seemed like something. And I had to be no more than, what I want to say, 10 or 11 at the time. So it just lets you know, like, I don't want to put it solely on race, but we have to go there. Being black and young at that time, you can just rationalize weird things, like things you know should not happen, but you think to yourself, okay, nothing happened, I still got my thing, so just something weird happened, but not weird enough where I need to say something to it. Of course, if something was like to happen now, of course, you know, I have kids. Something was to happen immediately, yo, speak up. And we'll get to that later, but I just got to speak my truth. That's literally what happened. And then, of course, you get the random drug stops. Literally, I remember I did a stop at a stop sign, went past the stop sign, and then it's like, hey, you did what's called a California stop. If you never heard of that, it's when you don't fully stop at the stop sign. Although I did stop, but sure. So then it's like rummage through stuff, rummage through my things. And to me, I'm just thinking, I don't have nothing. There's a lot of stuff in my car because I'm like probably just coming from New York or wherever I was. I remember there being a lot of stuff in my car, but I don't have nothing in the car. So just go for it. Like the quicker you do this, the quicker I can get to where I want to go. Once again, rationalization. Basically, you're making a norm out of something that is not normal and shouldn't be normal. Something that shouldn't be the norm. I have to say, before the Black Lives Matter movement really hit, it's not that cops were scary, but it's more so the police were maybe like just like an authoritative figure. Maybe you've seen it as you would see a judge, or you've seen it as a, like this person could do no wrong. Not really understanding that this is literally a human with a job from a young age, from a young perspective. It's like if you get pulled over the cops, okay, listen to what they say, do what they tell you to do, and you're gonna go home. Especially if like you're not really into things like that, like gang activity or just drugs or whatever it is. You just feel like, okay, I just comply, and then I can go. But then when they're constantly doing other things, chastise you or to pick at you, and then you have to get a thought in your head like, what? Like, I have nothing. I'm complying. Why are you still? It's like you have to think to yourself, did they have a bad day today? Why am I getting the brute force? Or why am I getting the bad end of your bad day? But you don't. It's almost like speaking to a parent or something at a young age. Like you wouldn't backtalk or you wouldn't challenge it. You just kind of accept it. And I think for a long time, we as black people as seen it as such. And then, of course, with the Black Lives Matter movement, we feel like we have some power. It's told a lot of us to get the courage to research. What laws do we have when we get pulled over? What can we do when we get pulled over? And things along those lines. So it's honestly a learning experience from those younger times. One police encounter that I have that I could never forget. And granted, I've had some decent police encounters for different situations. First off, I have my girlfriend's car at the time, right? And it wasn't even her car, it's her mom's car. Cool. I literally went to one of my homies' house, playing Smash Bros or whatever it is going on, just hanging out. And then I had to go home. But the thing is, and I knew this, so I'm going to take culpability in it as well. My license was no good at the time, right? So driving on suspended. So of course, when you're driving on suspended, first off, you shouldn't do that. But if you do, what are you going to do? You're going to take the back roads. So I remember I was making a turn to go down the back roads. I'm like, all right, I'm literally 5 minutes from the house. Let me just go down the back roads, get there. There's a cop behind me. I remember I was at a main intersection to make a left turn. He got behind me to make a left turn. So on my dumb child mind, of course old enough to drive, whatever, like 18-year-old mind, I'm like, oh shoot. He's gonna like know that my license is suspended. Not thinking like, this is not even your car. If they run the license plate, it's gonna come up with someone else. But whatever. So I remember I made that turn. I made that left turn, and there was like a hotel right there, or motel, whatever it was. Anyway, so I made a right in there and parked really quick. So funny enough, they actually turned in there as well, but they went like around the building, so I could not see them. So then I waited for about, let's say 5-10 minutes. They didn't move. They were just still behind the building. I was like, okay, I'm 3 minutes from the house now. All I gotta do, get out of here, go home. Girl, go get her car, hang out. I'm good. So I pull out of the motel. Literally, as I'm at the turn to make that right, the cop pulls up behind me. I'm like, God darn it. But, you know, then at that point, you just got to play it cool. Just look, act normal, act normal. So I remember I made the right turn. As soon as I made that right turn, you knew the lights came on. Come on now. So lights come on, find nearby parking lot, turn in there. They come out. It's a black cop. It's a white cop, driver, and black cop. So they come up to my car, standard procedure. Do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know I got pulled over for the dumbest reason? Your lights was off. when I pulled out, I forgot to put the lights back on. So regardless, let's continue on. So fine, I'm pulled over for this. So then it's like license and registration. Oh, this is not my car, and my license is no good. So I mean, you got to keep it real at that point. But I live 3 minutes away. Nervous, anxiety. So okay, we're gonna run your license. Fine. And can you step out the car as we do that? Cool. So at this point, I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh shoot, they're gonna tow the car. Because usually, if you get caught driving suspended, you can't drive. Obviously, you're not supposed to be driving. So I remember I hit my girl up at that time, like, I'm at this spot. They might tow the car. So can you get over here as soon as you can? And she's like, yeah. I'm gonna say 18 minutes away. It's random, but yeah, she said she's 18 minutes away. She'll be on her way, and everything will be fine. So I even asked him, like, can she come and get the car, because I don't want it to get towed and everything. It's her mom's car, really, and everything. But fine. He tells me to get out the car, go to the hood of the cop car, and he says the white cop is always talking to me. The black cop is just in the background, kind of just I don't know, just there. So the white cop comes to me to the hood, and he says, "Is there anything in the car?" I'm like, "No, nothing at all." He's like, "No, excuse me." He said, "Do you have any drugs on you or something like that first?" Obviously, well, you guys may not know, but I don't do drugs. Never done drugs in my life. So I'm like, no. He's like, okay. And they in the car. I said, no. Do you mind if we search the car? And that, I mean, for that split second, I thought to myself, okay, wait, this is not my car. It's not even my girl's car. It's her mom's car. And her mom was like a principal of a school at that time. Not that means anything. You can be a principal and still do drugs. But her mom wasn't about that life either. So I'm to myself, once again, the rationalized brain. I have nothing on me. There's nothing in the car. I literally had the car all day. So check. Who cares? The sooner you check that, the sooner I can get out of here. Or if you're going to force me to wait for my girl to come and get me and pick me up because she has a license valid and I don't, cool. So I'm like, sure, go ahead. Search the car. I'm just chilling at the hood, whatever. Like texting her, like, hey, I'm here, come, she's like, I'm 15 minutes away now. Cool. So I'm just like, all right, I think everything's gonna be fine. My main focus was, I just hope they don't take the car, and I hope I don't really like go to jail. That's not necessarily. I believe you can go to jail if you're caught and it's suspended. I don't know, but I do know that they definitely can tow the car because I remember that happened to someone I knew before. Anyway, he checks the car. He comes back to me. You don't have nothing in this car. I'm like, no. And like, it made me question it. Like, no, I'm like, did I buy some Sour Patch today? No, I got nothing. Okay. Goes back to the car. Search. Now I'm kind of concerned. Like, I text her. I remember, do you have anything in this car? Your mom had anything in this car? She's like, absolutely not. Never. The cop comes back to me at this point. Are you sure you have nothing in the car? I'm said, I have nothing in the car. I even text my girl. There's nothing in the car. It's her mom's car. He goes back, right? This time it's quick. He goes back. He goes like to the passenger side, like he's going to the glove compartment, comes out, and he has this thing in his hand. And he's like, okay, what is this? So at that time, I had no idea what that was. Legit no idea what that was. It was like a can, and then you put the lid off, and it's like, I'm going to say cones on it, and then cones of dust. Obviously, I found out that was a grinder later on. But at that time, I legit had no idea what my man was showing me. So said, I don't know what that is. It was at this point that I acknowledged the black officer's presence because I heard a gasp next to me because he's kind of by the passenger door. He gasped, shook his head, and walked towards the back of the car. It seemed like he just walked off like making a call or something like that. I don't know. But you can tell whatever was taking place, he was disgusted with it. So the white cop, what is this? There's sometimes where you can play off, like if you like act like you don't know something or act confused. But there's sometimes where it's genuine confusion, and you can tell from someone when you ask them someone that they have no idea what's being displayed or they have no idea what's going on. So I'm pretty sure that cop can see that I did not know what that was. I said, I don't know. I don't do drugs. I have no idea what this is. So he's like, this is marijuana. That's what he said. This is marijuana. I said, oh, okay, I don't do marijuana. He's like, let me see your gums. I'm like, yo, bro, I can't make this up. So I show him, and then he's like, so you don't know what this is? I'm like, no, I don't know. And then I remember he looked for a second and said, I won't book you this time, but next time I will get you. Don't have drug in this car, and I'm taking this with me. And you sit here and you wait for whoever needs to come to pick you up. So then him and other cop get in car, drive off. I'm snapping at shorty now. Yo, what the F? You have marijuana in the car? And she's just like, I'm texting her fast, so she's like, huh? Confused. Like, what are you talking about? There's no, I don't even do marijuana. My mom doesn't. What are you talking about? And all this stuff. Right? So eventually she does get there. She drives off, and we go back the way, to take me to the house. And then literally as we're going that way, the cops, I'm going to say maybe 15 seconds down the road, like, because that was the path. Because I mean, when I was talking to them, I told them I had to go that way to go home. So they were literally sitting right there, just maybe to see if I was going to drive the car on my own anyway. But Shorty was with me. Got home, and then like we had a talk about it, and then basically she was able to just convince me, and I kind of knew it was true, but it didn't seem real to me. Like, did you try to frame me? Did you try to put drugs on me? Like, I don't know. So it didn't seem real, but I knew her, obviously. I knew of her mom. I met her mom before, and I knew what type of woman she was. And like I said, you can be a principal, you can do whatever and do drugs. Not to say that's a bad thing, but I knew she didn't have any in her car. And when I explained the thing that I didn't know at that time, and we figured out what it was like, oh, that was never in my car ever in life. Never would that be in my car. I can't even have that with my schooling and everything like that. This freaking cop literally tried to pin something on me. Like I said, a movie scenario. And then I think from there, that's when I kind of started being wary, or making sure that when I'm driving around, there's nothing in my car, or even if you want to do a search, there's nothing really to search because there's nothing in there. And once again, it goes to that point of rationalizing it. And then we hear stories, and this is what just happened to me happened previously, but then I'm stating now, as we get closer to the Black Lives Matter movement, and we try to get justice for all and things along those lines, and you see people literally getting routine stopped and getting killed from getting stopped. People always say something like, what's it like to be black, right? And only thing I can relate it to, if you ever had any experience, if you had ever had any near-death experience, or if you was in an abusive relationship and you were timid, you were scared, you weren't sure what this person was capable of or anything along those lines, think of that feeling that you felt at that moment. Literally ponder it. I want you to bring up all those emotions and have them in your brain, right? And I want you to feel that every single day, pulling people over and people getting killed, people of color and things along those lines. It's really two things for me that I feel gives police their power. One, they have the power of the benefit of the doubt. So more often than not, their word is going to be believed over our words. Even with the body cams, even with things going on, their words are going to be believed. And then two, we think about why are you shooting unarmed black people? You know what I mean? Why are you harming them when clearly, like, my daughter's in the back, I clearly have no weapons on me, I have a white t-shirt on and shorts. Like, what do I have on me? And you know what I realized? There's something we have that we can't get rid of. And it's the black skin. Our black skin this is like, I don't know, Black Panther skin. But now, in all seriousness, our skin is viewed as a weapon. Can't hide that. So it's automatically, you have a weapon. No, I don't have no weapons on me. I have no firearms. No, that pigmentation, that's the weapon. That's forcing me to shoot. That's making me want to let this trigger go. That's making me want to ruin your kid's life. That's making me want to make your mother mourn. You know what I mean? That's making me want to send you to the man upstairs. So when you're seeing things like this and you're thinking about that, it brings a really, really important question to your brain. I just told you about the things that I just went through as far as traumatized, and I think about it. Even if I were to get pulled over, it's like, okay, what do? Do I start off with my hands up? Do I just have the license and registration ready? Do I roll my window down? Do I cut my car off? Do I throw my keys out the window? Do I open the glove box? Do I roll down all the windows? Hey, there's nothing in here. Do I get naked? Like, in all seriousness, it makes you beg the question of, forget what happens to me. Let's say I've gone through this and I'm fit for it. It begs the question of, what is the conversation that you have with your kids now? Because now, if they get pulled over, what do you say to them? Or if they have a police encounter, what do you say? Hey, son, comply. We see what happens. Hey, son, call me. We see what happens. Hey, son, put your hands up. We see what happens. In all those situations, someone still got shot or still got attacked by complying. So that becomes a bigger question of, it's not about me. It's not about, when we say we're fighting for the Black Lives Matter movement, for everyone that's going through it, for all the lives we've lost, we're thinking about the next generation. You're killing generations of people now. So now we don't even know what to see. If you don't care about my skin color and how I feel, how are you going to care about my kids' skin color? You know what I mean? So it begs a really big question of, what do you tell your kids when they have a police encounter, especially if you're a person of color? What do you tell them? That's what I think about, and that's kind of what sometimes I go back and forth with. Sometimes what I beat myself up about, because there is no correct answer. The only answer we can say, or the only thing we can do, is fight for justice and let our hope that our voices can be heard, and hopefully with enough protesting, with enough marching, and with enough rallying, we can make actual change. Because that's the scary part. If I can die, if it means that I die, that others live, or as far as especially my children live, cool. But now if they are the ones that's targeted, what am I to do? That's something you got to ask yourself. Whether you're black or whether you're white, doesn't matter. If you have black friends, if you've ever been in a situation like that, that's the question you need to think about. How can you use your voice or your privilege or your power to combat this? So my final advice with it, the only, I guess, logical thing to say to do is to comply. Now, if you comply and they're still being rowdy or being whatever, the only thing you can do is comply. And I would also highly suggest to record the situation. Because even if they were to smack your phone or take your phone or whatever the case may be, you will have some type of evidence of what happened. And as sad to say it, even when you're recording it, or even if it's getting recorded, or even if it's getting recorded with a body cam, you could still lose your life. And we've seen it countless times. But you know what? With you doing the recording and when you putting it to light, it gives us more reason to fight. And I hate to say it like that. It's almost like you got to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. But it seems to be coming down to that. And that's another thing that people have to be wary of. There's two things that I'm kind of not afraid of, but I can see happen in the foreseeable future. It going back to like 1940s, 1950s, when it's literally colored and white, everything's going to start getting separated, or it's going to get to the point where it's like, this ain't slave days no more. This isn't back in the day where we have no rights. It's going to get to the point where black people are gonna have had enough of it. And if it's gonna be like black versus blue, like legit, like you see cops and they're just getting shot at, although there are cases of that, if it becomes on a wide scale, worldwide, maybe not worldwide, but if it comes into a wide scale situation where I see a cop and I'm thinking, protect myself at all costs, what's gonna happen then? Is it going to be a genocide? You're going to see black people just getting killed? You're going to see cops just getting killed? What's going to happen? Martial law? These are things that cops honestly need to think about. These things black people need to think about, because what are we going to do? Just keep putting our hands up, getting shot, keep getting killed until the lives don't matter no more? Where it's like, I'm seeing a cop manhandling my son, and now I'm thinking, I got to take his life. And now you feel justified in doing it. You can think about like Queen and Slim. Obviously a made-up story, but a real-life situation where things like that can happen. Now you did an act, and now what? You run? Could you literally turn yourself in? You think you'd make it to trial? So these are things that I wanted to get off my chest, things that's going on as far as being impactful, being current in the world. But I challenge anyone listening to this. What would you suggest for me to say to my kids? What would you suggest to say to your own kids if you're of color? And even if you're not of color, what advice would you give? Even for my son watching this, we're going to have this talk. This is this talk. But yeah. In closing, I want to say, peace for all, justice for all, Black Lives Matter. We definitely want to be accepted and be a part of this culture, part of this world. We fought for it. We're not lesser than. And everyone can just be in harmony. This is not really a colored thing, but unfortunately the world is trying to make it that. But of course, in the meantime, getting off on a tangent there, all happy, all positive thoughts. We want to stay positive and motivated and follow our dreams. So of course, if you enjoy this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. And until the next video, in the meantime, I'm ReggieSova. And I'm out.
If you like what you saw here and you want to see more videos, click here. And if you want to see me and my dad's videos, click here. If you want to subscribe, click here. Goodbye, Dreamcatchers.